Hi, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. And today we are doing a review for King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. So I am going to kind of get through this pretty quickly because I feel like a lot of people have said the same feelings that I have already about this series. I did end up giving it a 4-star, but I don't know if it's quite there. I'm kind of giving it a 4-star more for my nostalgia for the characters and how much I love them than some of the things that were actually happening. However, this is the first in the duology, and I feel that in the next book, a lot of the things are going to pay off. I mean, that's how series work. So I'm interested in some of the ground that was laid, but I don't know. And I did like skim some of this because it was so long and I wanted more to be going on. So I definitely took off a whole star for how hard it was to finish this book. And you'll know, I was reading it for almost a whole month. What? It shouldn't have taken me this long to read this book. That's where a lot of the fault lies. But let me go over some non-spoiler reasons quick, and then I'll put up a spoiler marker and we can talk about a few of the things that drove me bonkers. First off, it was so good to see Nikolai again. He's never really got to be the focus before. He is so sassy and just always has the right thing to say. I definitely, like, when I reread this, which will be a while, like I'm not going to reread this till the next one is coming out because it was hard to get through it this time. I will definitely mark up more of the funny things that he says because he is hilarious. Even in the face of danger, he's just always got his sass on. Also, I loved getting to know Zoya more, who is the main commander of the Grisha at this point. She leads the 2nd Army, which is what the Darkling used to lead, and she keeps all the Grisha in line. She is the one who is, you know, locking Nikolai up every night because he turns into the monster. And this has only been 3 years since the end of 6 of Crows and like 5 years since the end of the Shadow and Bone. So we really still are in the middle of everything. And so Nikolai's like main issue is getting the other countries to not try to kill them. Other countries are still killing their Grisha and or trying to use their Grisha as weapons, which I have some like mixed feelings about that because I'm like, that's what the kingdom does. Like Grishas literally belonged to the king before. I mean, they're trying to change that and give them choices, but I mean, it's not like they're that far behind Nikolai's kingdom. Like they're not that far behind Ravka. Like Ravka, they belonged to the king just a generation, you know, not even a generation before. So it's not like that is so out of the blue. You know what I mean? Next, Nina, which I can't really talk about I will talk about it in the spoiler section because in that section I'll assume you know everything. But Nina, her beginning part of this story was not the funnest to read. I mean, we know she's in an interesting headspace from what's happened before, but her story was the most dull to me for most of the book. And that was sad because I love Nina and so much about her is great, that she is a real woman and she likes cake and she is sassy and beautiful and amazing and I love her. And it just wasn't what I was wanting from her. So, and I feel like that's why I said I'm not going to do too much in this because I feel like other people in the reviews are saying this too, that it's not what they were expecting from their characters. And I think for me, you know, I won't philosophize too much, but one thing I'll say is it's like we always think we want more than we do. And I don't know, I do want more, but I don't know. My biggest thing is that I was sad that this book was like 6 of Crows, where it was so many perspectives. So there's mainly 3, but there is a total of 5, and it's mainly Nina, Zoya, and Nikolai, and then there's a couple other people which I won't talk about right now. But I don't know, guys. I gave it 4 stars because whenever I was reading it, I was having a good time and I wanted to know what happened, but I would close the book and I would not want to pick it up again. So it was this like pulling teeth to get me to pick it up. And finally on Monday, you'll see in my reading vlogs, weeks ago Monday, because this book is coming out, or this video is coming out later, I had to just sit down and literally like glue my eyes to the page and make myself finish it. And it was hard. So I did give it 4 stars because there was a lot of things that I loved, and I'm very interested to where this story is going, which I'm going to talk about in just a second if you want to stick around. But it wasn't the joy I had like reading Crooked Kingdom. I could not put it down. And when I did have to put it down, I wanted to pick it up right away, and that wasn't the case. So anyway, gave this 4 out of 5 stars. If you've read the other books, yes, you should absolutely read this. I think this is a good like stepping point in what's going into the second one. So there we go. All right, spoiler card here. I'll give you like 3 seconds to click away, and then we're diving into the... Okay, so a couple things in the spoiler. I'm not going to spend too much time in this discussion, but a couple things that really annoyed me. This was called King of Scars, and I feel like Nikolai didn't get to do enough. I feel like what was happening to him was really tragic, and I wanted to spend more time with him, with what he was feeling when he gets locked in his room. But whenever he's getting locked in his room, we're in Zoya's point of view and how hard it is for her to lock him in the room. And I want to know what Nikolai was feeling. And you know, the thing that's hard, and this is the same thing why it was hard with like Kaz Brekker, is that when you have the mastermind of the story and you want the things that he does to be like tricky, you can't like be in their head when they're being tricky, because then we would know and it's not a surprise. So I feel like they did that a lot where they're like not in his head, because it wouldn't be a surprise then what he was doing. And so it was just frustrating for me. And then the main thing that I want to talk about, and all the other things we can talk about, you know, you can DM me if you've read it and you need to let out frustration. I'm here for you. Don't spoil it for anybody else down below unless you like, you know, do spoiler and like leave some space. You know, not that my comment section is like overflowing, but you know, we just want to be nice, because a lot of people found out what the spoilers were because of those things. Luckily, I didn't. I got spoiled because I chose to be spoiled. So I didn't know what was going on, but I was still open-minded because I wanted to read it myself and see why. So for me, the Darkling is back, and he's in the body of Yuri. I am excited about this, but not. So the Darkling is one of my favorite villains. You know, he's on my top 5 list of all time. I think he is so classy, yet completely evil, and that evil where he'll manipulate you and be sneaky about it. And I mean, him coming back, you know, even if I hadn't heard that spoiler, it became pretty clear at like the halfway point, the fact that Yuri wanted him to become a saint. I was like, we're talking about the Darkling a lot. Something is going to happen with him. And I just have mixed feelings, because his death at the end of the other series was just amazing to me. I thought it was great. I loved the ending of that series where Alina had to spend everything she had to dust this guy. And then they burned his body, and his soul is still around so he can be in someone else's body. And it's like the CW trope. Like that happens in the Vampire Diaries or in Supernatural all the time, where the bad guy who we worked so hard to get rid of just slips into someone else's body, and now we have to deal with him again. And they're setting it up that, or she's setting it up that we'll maybe have to work with him to complete what we're, you know, to fight against, I just forgot her name. Anyway, the bee lady who is escaping from purgatory, and that will like need to work with him now. And I don't know. And then the other thing, which Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, I'll link her review because she knows the series better than I. I've only read each of the books once, so that's fair. But the fact that he came back explains why Nikolai, why that dark part of him wasn't gone yet, and why like Jenya is still messed up, is because not all of him, like he didn't all die, so the damage that he did still remains, and that piece of darkness in Nikolai is still there. So that tells me though that if she's following her own rules, then Alina's power would have to come back too, right? Because they balanced each other, and when he was neutralized, she was neutralized too. So, and Alina is talked about constantly, which I love, because I love Alina. I would love for her to come back, but then it seems weird if like she would come back and then can vanquish him again. Like it just seems like a repeat. But I at least want them to go talk to her. Like if they don't go talk to Alina, and it says that at the end of the series that once in a while these certain people will come and visit the orphanage that they run. I need them to go talk to Alina. So if that doesn't happen in the next book, after how much they've talked about Alina, I'm going to be pretty mad. So I don't know. Those are the main things that annoyed me. The stuff that's happening with the girls, ooh, that is intense. Like, so in Nina's storyline, they're trying to rescue Grisha in another country. She's on a mission from Nikolai to try to rescue Grisha and like find out what's happening in like the country of Shu, which is where Matthias is from. And her like journey at the beginning is she's burying Matthias on his homeland, and she runs into his wolf, which was super cool. Like, he better come back. I want to see that wolf again. And she runs into this factory where they have pregnant women that they're feeding parem to so that their babies will be born enslaved to them already. And so they'll have these Grisha slaves that they're breeding, and it's freaky. It's freaky. So that's going to be very interesting. Like, they need to find an antidote to parem and or save all of those girls. And the problem is, because they're enslaved to this, like Nina, you know, Nina only had it one time and she's still so tempted to have more. Like, it was one dose and she wants it all the time, you know? She's not in the same place. So the thing is like, they want to rescue these girls, but they're not going to want to come with them because they need the drug too. So that is an interesting storyline. So yeah, it was worth a 4-star to me. I just wasn't satisfied. And it's okay that I not be completely satisfied because it's only the first part of a duology. But there was no satisfaction when it was done for me. And so that's where I'm struggling. So anyway, these are my thoughts, spoilery and non-spoilery, about King of Scars. I'm so excited for the TV show. I can't wait when like casting news starts happening. I'm so pumped. I'm happy it's going to be on Netflix, which means it'll all drop at once and we can just all binge it like crazy. But yeah, so those are my feelings. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can watch some more of those right now. Bye.